All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we've got a 2020 Dodge Durango. It's got a coolant leak. Pretty basic, it's just a water pump. So we're gonna show you the job, and then we're gonna show you our revenue and our profits on a job like this. All right, water pump. It's kind of long and unique, but it's behind this bracket. I've already taken the air pump, the vacuum pump off. It sits right here in the front. Pretty common on these Chryslers. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this bracket off out of the way here. Whatever those are, 15 or 16. 15s or 16s? 16. Okay, there's that bracket. All right, I got a bucket down there. I had opened the radiator and I started draining the radiator. We're gonna close that off, and I'm gonna move the bucket to underneath the lower hose here. I'm gonna wait on that until the end. We got 1,000,000 10 millimeters on the side of this thing. I gotta move this hose a little bit. We're gonna take it off right here. And then we gotta pull this idler pulley off. Yeah. Let's go ahead and start getting these hoses off anyway. No sense of waiting. I just don't want to make a huge mess. So I'd drain the radiator first, but alright. Oh, we're good. Not too much of a mess there. Cool. Keep track of your bolt length on this, but it's just a bunch of 10s 213s. See how this one's longer? I like to keep track. This one I can tell where it goes because of the sleeve here. But I like having the new one with me so I can put the bolts into it, but I don't have that option right now. So I just need to pay attention to it on camera here. Another one. It's got the centering thing on it. Short one. This is another full long one. Another long one. Seems like the long ones are on the outside edge here. There'll be something else down here though. All right, I don't think I got any more in there. Maybe one right there. Yeah, the long ones are all on the outside edge. All right, should be gold in here. There we go. All right, there you go. There's your water pump. Pretty simple. Show it to you firsthand here. So these are all your bolt holes. The outside ones are the long ones. There's just one at the bottom down there. So pretty basic. I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then I gotta wait for my wife to get back. All right, here is our new water pump, our new seal. Everything's all cleaned up. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting this thing put in. Babe, can you get me some torque specs on the bolts, please? Because there's 3 different size bolts. All right, for all the 10 millimeters, we are at 11 Newton meters on this, and it's just a back and forth pattern. It's 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I miss one? How many of the other ones are there of the 10 millimeter ones? Oh, I just missed it here. Never mind, I got it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so those are torqued. Okay, sorry, phone calls and stuff, but these two, they're tight. Here's your 213s. They're at 23 Newton meters or something like that. I got to go get another torque wrench to do this one because it requires 50 Newton meters, and my inch-pound one doesn't go that high. So I will be back in a minute and go get one of those. All right, here's another one. This one is 37 foot-pounds. I'm going to try to do it this way so I don't break anything. Okay. Okay. I didn't like how that other spring clamp was, so I put a regular hose clamp on it. All right, you got a belt for me? All right, let's put our new belt on. It's a Gates belt. It's a real simple, easy upsell. We're here. There's no labor involved. You're just selling a belt because it has never been replaced. And it's easy to do that. There's no reason why you shouldn't. All right, and there's our new belt. Good. All right. Here is our vacuum pump. This gets bolted in from the bottom, because why wouldn't you bolt it in from the top like a normal human being? All right, we are just about done here with the wrong size thing. All right, put the tools back on my cart shelf here. Let's get a funnel and let's get this thing filled back up with coolant. Let's straighten you out though. It's nearly empty.
Yeah.
So can I get? I know that one's there, but I probably need another one. Probably. So pre-mix, not pre-mix. I pre-mix it before coming here. I buy concentrate because it goes further. You can buy 1 gallon of pre-mixed for like our cost, commercial cost, for like, I don't know, $8.99 if you buy X amount of gallons. Like there's always a deal going on when you buy commercial. Or you can buy concentrate for like, I don't know, I think it's $10.99 per gallon. So a full gallon of concentrate makes 2 gallons. So you do the math. It cuts it down to cheaper than the premix, so you get a little bit more margin in that. So we're gonna go hook up our scanner real quick. We're just using the little Mucar. I think that's how you say it, M-U-C-A-R, Mucar. Mucker. I don't fucking know. All right. So basically what we're going to do is watch our coolant temps before we fill it too much and then cause ourselves grief by making a mess all over the place. So just doing a basic VIN scan. I gotta tell you, this little tool, I was working on a Saab, a 2006 Saab 9.3, 2006? Yeah, 2006 Saab 9.3 last week, our first week back in. And you guys know I've got a Snap-on Zeus Plus. I've got an Altel Maxi Sys Ultra, the first one. And I've got a bunch of these. These ones were ones that were sent to me and I, did reviews on them and stuff like that. So that Saab, it had ABS lights on. I couldn't do a VIN code scan. The Snap-on doesn't even offer a Saab at all in that scanner. Couldn't pull anything up. I go to OBD2 or just basic OBD checks. You can't check ABS in that. So there's nothing I could do. I hooked up the AutoFix. The AutoFix will go into the ABS. It finds the actual VIN number. It pulls up the Saab, everything, right? And that AutoFix, again, is like a $600 $500 tool. The AutoFix wouldn't show me codes, but it would show me data. This stupid thing that is not even a typical US-based tool works perfect. Pulls the VIN, check the codes. I was able to find that there was a circuit for the ABS pump motor, and it was a blown 40 amp fuse. Fix the car with a little $400 tool versus a $9,000 Snap-on scanner because it wouldn't pull up the car or do a VIN search on it. So if you want to buy a Snap-on Zeus Plus, it's for sale. All right, well, this gets up to temperature. I'm going to go show you guys what we actually made in revenue and what we made in profit on this job. All right, so what I'm going to show you here is just a simple revenue and profit margin on this job. Again, if you're someone that thinks that mechanics are crooks, please just don't leave the comments down there because I don't want to hear it, because I'll just delete it and block you from the channel. I don't care. But just know that the phone you're using to write that nasty comment has a higher margin, and they're more of a thief than what you guys think mechanics are. So, total job for the customer that he had to pay today was $491. Now, there's a lot in tax in that. Taxes were $33, about $34 total in taxes. So the subtotal before tax is $456. So the $456 is our total revenue that I actually pay attention to on this job. Within our profit analysis, which you'll see a little bit of it here on the screen minus the customer's information, $456. This cost me $41.60 to pay me as a technician if I was doing flat rate, but it's hourly. So as an hourly rate at 1.3 hours, it's 75.2% profit margin, gross profit margin. It cost me $41.60. Parts, we have the water pump, a belt, and 2 gallons of coolant. So that cost me $141.03. That leaves a total gross profit of $273 for this job. Now, I don't get to just keep that. I have my wife's payroll to pay. I have my truck payment. I've got QuickBooks. I got TechMetric. I've got all data. I've got gas. I've got insurance. I've got all those things that I have to pay to be able to come to your house and do quality, unique service to your vehicle while you're at work. So out of that $273, we might keep about 20% of that. So, well, I say it's good to net somewhere between 10 and 30% of your overall monthly numbers. So if we were to say 20% in the middle, we're at what? 2730 times 2. So, oh, son of a monkey's uncle. 2730 times 2. So about $52. That's what the company gets to net and hold on to on this in particular job. Now, some of you might be like, that's crazy. I'm not doing all that for $50. That's not what that means. $50 is what my company gets to hold on to. It paid for that $80,000 truck that I have sitting out there, which you guys don't need to have. And I, just so you know, I did not raise my prices just to have that truck. I took the hit on my profits to have that truck. That was my choice, not a choice that my customers make. If I buy something big and fancy because I want to spend extra money, my customers don't pay for that. I don't raise prices for that crap. I don't think you should either. But it pays my wife's salary. It pays my salary. It pays all of that. The $50 left over is what the company nets. That's the difference. People look at gross profit and think that that's what we get to keep, and it's not. That's before operating expenses. So after operating expenses, about $50 on this job, which isn't bad. I think that's really good, especially if you're doing 20, 30 jobs a week like we are, and you're averaging about the same ballpark number. You're going to make great money. Your company's going to hold on to really good money if you do it that way. So I'm going to go on a test drive on this Durango, but that's it for this job. I hope you guys like this style of video. If you did, leave some comments, leave some of your thoughts down below, and I would love to see you guys on the next video.